What up YouTube, Topaz Ace back for another album review, and this one's to that Jack Harlow, Come Home, the Kids Miss You. But before we jump into this album review, first I gotta offer you context. First I gotta let you know what's going on in my mind leading up to this album so that you know how I felt about going through this album. But if you feel as though you know everything there is to know about Jack Harlow, feel free to fast forward to this point here. But who is Jack Harlow? He's the new power of the commercialized music industry that's getting forced onto people. You feel me? As he's signed to Don Cannon and DJ Drama's Generation Now, but he really got his record deal going through Atlantic, and he's had it since 2018. He's really been putting out material that they've been promoting for a little minute, like go back to 2018, that Loose record. Sundown was his biggest record, and can't lie, that Sundown was cool as it was Neptune's production. But that project ultimately showed me that he hasn't grown very much when you compare that to this latest project here. Then the next mixtape that he dropped that they try to forget about is that Confetti, where Through the Night was a solid project. That was the first project that he went gold with the single. And you know, most rappers who are signed to the mainstream labels and you only get one gold single out of two projects that they automatically was pushing from the beginning, this is when you get dropped. But Jack Harlow got the complexion for the protection, so they kept that pushing. The next project was the EP, the Sweet Action, where this is where What's Poppin' got introduced, but they kept pushing it so that they can get it to where it's at now, where 6 times platinum. It takes time to build that up as they put that in the Sweet Action EP to the album, and then they did a remix to it. But his first album was That's What They Say, where this had individual joints do really well. That What's Poppin', as I said, did 6 times platinum. His Tyler Hero song did platinum. That Way Out did gold. And Already Best Friends went gold as well. See, I'm on record saying that Jack Harlow was just Mac Miller, but with a better flow. May he rest in peace. See, it's a cool thing to see the growth of, say, a Jack Harlow or a Mac Miller. They came up and they was dropping their own stuff, and then the major record labels came through and supported them and helped push them to the points where they get the audiences that's rocking with them no matter what they do. If only they did every artist that way. Now keep in mind, I've never once said that Jack Harlow is complete trash, much like the internet is saying. Like, there are far worse out there, but I will say there's also far better. Jack Harlow is just an average rapper that is getting pushed to the forefront like he's the next great thing that actually happened. And seeing as though First Class is getting that massive promotion where it went platinum before this album even dropped, look to it continuing with this. What am I expecting from this album? More of the same, because his skill set hasn't gotten better. And now I bring you the album review of Jack Harlow, Come Home, The Kids Miss You. Overall, album is exactly what I expected it to be. An uber commercialized project lacking in actual substance that is going to get pushed like it's the greatest album ever. People on Twitter just heard the intro and said, oh, this is the album of the year. When in reality, this isn't going to be in the top 15, probably not even the top 25. It does have some entertaining moments, but the lackluster lyricism, lacking of diversity, the non-existent substance, and the comparisons that are bound to happen because of how he did these songs ultimately doomed this project before they even had a chance. There are some moments in there, like say the Dua Lipa, where the snippet of this dropped a little while ago, man, and it just so happened to be a snippet at the best part of the entire song with that drop. But still, I like the energy and the bounce. One of the more catchy songs off of this entire project that I actually feel as though deserves a slot on a playlist. His laid-back delivery just works flawlessly with that production. Solid joint. But honestly, this project is at its best with songs like Little Secret, where these songs have the smooth and soulful type production to cover up his lack of having such. As this song in particular is talking about his hidden woman, and it makes sense because, you know, being single is part of his image that's selling his records, and women go wild for his material, and mostly because they may believe that they have a chance. There's a lot of similarities to this song to a bunch of others like A Blade of Grass, because he's a limited artist that only has a limited amount of songs that he does, but those are honestly the best that he could bring to offer, but they didn't come out like as flawless as I think they could have. The next song I want to talk about is Churchill Downs. This is nothing more than a Drake song. More specifically, a less interesting Western Road Flows type song. And sadly, this isn't the only time that you're going to hear the Drake influence off of this project, to the point that you are honestly better off listening to a better Drake album just seeing how much he's trying to be like him. But the next track I want to talk about is that Parent Trap, featuring Justin Timberlake, which, yes, Timberland helped on the production, as I thought he would when I saw the track listing. Timberlake is doing his best impersonation of, say, Chris Brown, I think? Like, I can't put my finger on the exact interpolation because there's a bunch of interesting interpolations that he's trying to do here, from Destiny's Child to Chris Brown to you name them on this. As this one came off as a cool track, but not one that I'm going to keep though. The next song I want to talk about is Poison. And as I said, this comes off as, you know, super Drake influenced, super track. And I got a question, why are you having to remake my least favorite type of Drake songs? Now, Lil Wayne, he got back into his auto-tune bag for this one, as he came in on this one just spitting crazy. This one did have potential, especially with the last beat switch at the very end, but I don't feel as though it panned out though. As you break down this entire project, there's a lot of songs that had beat switches, and I felt as though that was a mandatory thing because, again, he's a one-dimensional caliber of artist that needs every trick of the trade to make his songs feel different. And the last song I want to talk about is that State Fair, as this is only the second and final song that I'm keeping for my playlist for now, this to go along with Dua Lipa. See, I love the smooth vibe. See, this is what Little Secret and Blade of Grass was, but yet this one just came out better. So like I said, man, a bunch of interesting projects and stuff on here, man, just nothing really amazing. But you know we can't end this here without talking about the bars. Understand that Jack Harlow isn't the lyrical individual on the level of the best. Once you get that he will never be that top tier lyricist, then you can just sit back and enjoy what little bars he does have for what they are. See, there's nothing complex or interesting, just some brief one-liners that can entertain to a degree. And given his whole skill set, that's all you really need. As he's saying bars in here like, yo, I got me a main character, but you could be an extra. As you realize, a lot of his attempts at being lyrical, it does center around him speaking about his women. Just like how he said, yo, I hit it yesterday and she already nostalgic. But then there are moments in there like, yo, ops, they want an olive branch, but we don't extend them. Like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here, but you could have made that better. Just saying the ops want an olive branch, but we extend them. You just take away the don't. What you mean by that is extended clips. See, great lyricism doesn't mean you have to write a lot of things in your bars. You just have to be thinking about it and make it as simplistic as possible so that you can do more with it. Overall, since I came into this not expecting much, I was able to enjoy this project for what it's worth, not the overhype and expectation that the mainstream wants you to feel. It is a fine mid-grade album that will not compete for Best Album of the Year, but does deserve some consistent play on certain songs. The vibe of some of the production to go with his laid-back delivery and catchy style is what should be remembered rather than people's biased opinions because the labels tell you this or that you only support people of this skin tone. I give it a 5 out of 10. Worth some play, but that's about it.